Let us start with the next chapter, circular motion. Circular motion is an important chapter from the point of view of your competition exams, and we have already studied a little bit of circular motion in junior classes. We know that in the simplest words, we can say that the circular motion is a motion of a particle or a body in a circle. But it does not mean that the circle always have to be complete. It can be an arc also. If a body is moving in an arc from point A to point B, then this will also be considered as a circular motion, because if the body keeps on continuing, it will complete the circle. So instead of using circular motion, the word circular all the time, we can use that the motion of the particle at an angle, or simply angular motion. So angular motion will encapsulate the arc also, as well as the complete circle also. Now we know that if the body is moving in a circle like this, suppose this is a circular path, then it will have some center, say O, and the path will also have some radius. Now this r, when we are talking about velocity or acceleration in a circle, then this r has to be a vector quantity, because it will give us the direction of the position. So we can say that r can also be defined as the position vector, or sometimes it is also written as radial vector. So radial vector or radius vector or position vector, they all mean the same in the circular motion or angular motion. And similarly, if the body is moving in an arc, it is not completing the circle, still it will have some center, because arc is also a part of a circle. So it will have some center, it will have radius. So OA will be equal to OB. So this way circular motion is defined. And we have also studied that in a circular motion, the direction of linear velocity is given by the tangent at any point. So let us say that if the particle is at point P and it is moving in a clockwise direction, then at point P, the linear velocity of the particle will be given by this tangential vector. And since the direction of this vector will keep on changing, because velocity is a vector quantity, so it will have magnitude as well as direction. So even if the magnitude is constant, even if the velocity of the particle around the circular motion is not changing, but since its direction will change at every point the tangent will point at a different direction, so we can say that velocity is changing. The velocity is changing, therefore we can say that circular motion is accelerated motion. So although it is possible that the magnitude of the velocity is not changing, but since the direction is changing at every point, so it will be an accelerated motion. So by virtue of this, we can divide circular motion in two types. First is the uniform circular motion. In uniform circular motion, we can say that the magnitude of the velocity is constant. So although the direction will be changing, but the magnitude is same. If the body is moving in a circle with a speed of 5 meters per second, then the direction at every point will be different for v, but the magnitude will be same. So if the magnitude is constant, we will say that it is a uniform circular motion. And similarly, second type is non-uniform circular motion, in which the direction is changing and also the magnitude is also changing. So at every point the body will have can have a different velocity. So we can say that the magnitude of velocity is not a constant, it is a variable. Now let us study about some standard properties. Standard properties or standard parameters of a circular motion, of a circular or angular motion. So let us consider that a particle is moving in a circle of center O, and at any time the particle is at position P, where its velocity is given by the linear velocity is given by the tangent, and after some time the particle is at point Q, where the velocity is. Let us say at point P the velocity is v1 and at point Q the velocity is v2. Now, and this is the radius vector. Now when the particle is moving from P to Q, it is going like this, then not only it is covering some linear distance, it is also covering some angular distance. As we can see that the angle, there will be an angle formed between point P and Q, and the direction of this angle is like this, from P to Q. If the body were moving from Q to P, then we would draw the angle like this. So let this angle be delta theta. So there will be two kinds of displacement. One will be a displacement, linear displacement from P to Q, and another is the displacement of angle, or we can say angular displacement. So the first quantity that we should define is angular displacement. The angular displacement is the angle traversed by the position vector r, because r is changing here. It is the r which is the direction of r is changing. Earlier at point Q the direction of r is like this, and after some time the direction of r is like this. So we can say that the angular displacement is the angle traversed by the radius vector with respect to reference point, and generally the reference point is taken as the center of the circle. Now this angle, the SI unit of angle is radians, so we will measure the angle in radians. So the unit of angular displacement will be radians. Radians are given in the terms of pi. Pi is equal to 180 degree. So if the particle is going from P and it is making an angle from between P and Q, it is making an angle of 90 degree. So radians will be pi by 2. Or if the particle is starting from P and after some time it comes diagonally opposite, then the radians angle in radians, or the angular displacement in radians, will be equals to pi or 180 degree. Similarly, the linear apart from linear velocity, we will have angular velocity also, because of linear displacement there will be linear velocity, and because of angular displacement there should be some angular velocity. So the second parameter is angular velocity. When we talk about angular velocity, then as we define linear velocity is the rate of change of displacement, rate of change of linear displacement. Similarly, angular velocity will be rate of change of angular displacement. We denote this with symbol omega, and omega will be given by rate of change of angular displacement, or we can say delta theta by delta t. The change is delta theta, and this change came in the time delta t, then angular velocity will be equal to delta theta upon delta t, and the unit will become radians per second. Similarly, we define angular acceleration. Just do it on next page. The third quantity, the third important parameter, is angular acceleration. Angular acceleration, just like we define linear acceleration is the rate of change of linear velocity, angular acceleration is rate of change of angular velocity. It is denoted, we use the symbol alpha for this, and it is the rate of change of angular velocity, so it will be delta omega upon delta t, and the unit will be radians per second square. Now these units that we talk about, they will all be, make note that they will always be given in the form of radians, and even if it is given in the form of degrees, then we should convert it into radians first, because the SI unit of angle is radians. and since all of these, angular displacement, angular velocity and angular acceleration, are vector quantities, so they will have a direction, and the direction of them are given by the right hand thumb rule. So we'll write a note here that direction of, say, angular velocity or angular displacement, because the first parameter that we defined is angular displacement, so we can say direction of angular displacement is given by right hand thumb rule, which we have already studied in previous videos. So in right hand thumb rule we can say that, let us say that if the z axis, if x, y and z axis are given like this, and let us say a particle is moving in this way, and at some point it is at P and it is going like this, and after some time it is at Q, then the angular displacement is from P to Q, and if we move our fingers, if we curl our fingers, then the direction in which the thumb is pointing will give us the direction of angular displacement. So from P to Q, when we curl our fingers from P to Q like this, the thumb will be in upward direction, so we'll say the direction of angular displacement is in upward direction. But make sure you understand that this direction is only the direction of the vector. We are using just a notation to define the direction of vector. The actual angular displacement is happening from P to Q, or we can say it is happening in anti-clockwise direction if we look from above. So make sure that do not confuse that the upward angle, the upward vector of delta theta does not mean that the particle from P is moving in this direction. It is moving in Q direction from P to Q. But when we are talking about vector direction, then we will use this right hand thumb rule. Otherwise the actual direction is from P to Q, and if the body is going from Q to P, then in that case the direction of delta theta will be in downward direction. But the actual direction, if we talk about the actual angular displacement, then we have only two directions. One is clockwise and one is anti-clockwise. So if we look at this particle from above, like in this direction, then if the body is moving in anti-clockwise direction, then the direction of displacement, angular displacement, is upward, and if the body is moving in clockwise direction from Q to P, then the direction of angular displacement is downward. But make sure these are only for the reference. They do not give the actual direction. The actual direction is either clockwise or anti-clockwise. Similarly, if we define all these parameters in vector notation, then angular displacement will be written like this: delta theta radians, angular velocity will be vector omega, and it will be equal to this radian per second. Also, one more thing to notice here, that this formula gives the average angular velocity. Just write it. It is the average angular velocity. If we need to find the instantaneous velocity, then we put a limit on average angular velocity. We put the limit of delta t tending towards 0. Then in that case our formula changes to d theta by dt in the form of differentiation. So this way we can also define angular acceleration too in vector, and this is the average angular acceleration, and if we replace it with d omega by dt, then it will be instantaneous acceleration.